video is not going to delve into the science of time travel. It will not ask, is it possible? Instead, we will make some observations. One observation is that the idea of time travel offers us a means to answer the aforementioned question. If time travel is possible, and if someone has or is going to travel in time, then we should be able to see evidence of it in the historical record. We can search for time travelers by exploring historical events, particularly controversial historical events. Such events fascinate professional historians and armchair historians alike, and so if time travel was ever to be achieved in the future, then curiosity would draw those historians to those historical and controversial events. It is human nature, and so we can expect to detect their footprints by studying history. In this video, we will look at a few problems any time traveler would encounter on arriving in the past. Then we will consider the clues to watch out for. And if you like this video, then why not press the like button, share the video on Ye Old Medias of Social, and subscribe to this channel. If you don't like this video, then press the dislike button, share the video on Ye Old Medias of Social, and subscribe to the channel anyway. Time travel into the future is easy. We are travelling there even now, at a rate of 1 hour per hour. Special relativity suggests that we can accelerate this rate by taking a spacecraft on a round trip at close to the speed of light. We might experience 2 weeks, but on returning home, we would find the Earth had experienced 200 years. Time travel into the past, though, is what excites the imagination most, and it is travel in this direction that concerns us here. Assuming time travel into the past is possible, there are certain factors a time traveler would need to take into account. These might also provide us with clues as to the presence of time travelers. First, there is disease. From a human immunity point of view, the past is another planet. On his arrival, the time traveler would be prey to historical diseases. His immune system would have developed for his current day, but because microbes change and evolve over time, our immunity to modern disease might not protect us from an earlier version of that said disease. Of course, this would be true in the opposite direction as well, as the time traveler would carry dangerous microbes back in time with him. Who knows? Perhaps the Black Death began with the arrival of a time traveler from the future. Second, there is the question of memory. We can call it the Sam Beckett hypothesis. Could time travel have a detrimental effect on human memory? There is a theory that human memory is far more location-based than we imagine, and that the mind is a key which opens the lock of more detailed memories stored in the physical location where those events took place. Think of those times you have visited a location in which you used to live or work. Did the visit jog your memory? Did you, all of a sudden, remember things you had forgotten? This memory theory might be nonsense, of course, but if there is some truth to it, we might wonder at how time travel might affect the traveller's memory. Might the mental asylums of history have had more than their fair share of time travellers, suffering from amnesia? We might also wonder how much mental stress time travel might have on the time traveller. Third, there is the question of language. Language changes over time, and the time traveller would have to be well prepared. Take one simple word, billion. Even in Great Britain today, if you say 1 billion, you are referring to 1,000 million. But this is a recent change, heavily influenced by the American misuse of the word. In proper English, 1 billion means 1 million million, hence the term billion, bi, as in bifocal, bicycle, bipedal. The same is true of a trillion. In American English, a trillion is a million, but in the proper original British trillion, it meant a million. Tri, as in tricycle, triceps, tripod. An American time traveller would arrive in London in the 1920s and become confused over our proper use of the word billion. When seeking the time traveller, we must watch out for their reported use of language, particularly anyone whose manner of speaking was reported as eccentric and odd, as if he was a foreigner, but a foreigner whose homeland was vague. As far as publicly known, our current civilization has not the technological ability to travel through time, so we must assume any such time travellers would come from the future. This fact gives us an opportunity to speculate. Our inability to detect time travellers might suggest to us something about the nature of our civilization's future. There are conclusions we might reach. One conclusion is that time travel into the past may not be possible. Another would be that time travellers are very good at hiding. And yet there is in the wide range of human personality types at least a handful of egotists who would want to make a name for themselves, or just toy with the public by making themselves public, or even just warn us of our immediate future, like John Titor, only real. A third conclusion we might reach is that the people of the future might be less intelligent than us and so unable to invent time travel. Given the nature of our current political elites and the Dunning-Kruger effect which seems to affect them most grievously, we could be on a march towards a future of stagnation and low IQ, especially given the fluoride they dump in our drinking water. Time travel, therefore, may well end up not happening simply because the numbers of intelligent people in the future are too few. A final chilling conclusion we can reach is, perhaps there is no future humanity. Perhaps the reason we see little recognizable signs of future time travelers is because something is going to happen that destroys the know-how and technological and scientific basis for time travel, such as a harsh Carrington event. Or perhaps humanity itself is destroyed in an extinction-level event. History is full of odd occurrences and mysteries. Consider the babushka lady in Daley Plaza in 1963. Consider the case of the mystery third ship, which apparently watched the Titanic sink but did not approach. This mystery ship has never been properly identified. Consider the identities of the 7 First World War sailors whose bodies were washed up on the coast of North Yorkshire, near St. Oswald's Church, near Whitby, where they were buried. Who were they? We cannot change history, for history has already happened. Any changes a time traveller would make would be in the historical record, and so their footprints should be visible if we know how and where to look. There are whispers out of the shadows of archaeology, whispers of out-of-place objects, such as anatomically modern human remains in rock strata 2.5 to 3 million years old, of gold chains found in coal, of a fossilized shoe print. Then there are men whose technological marvels are ahead of their time. Consider Hero of Alexandria, who created devices that moved through the power of steam. Consider Roger Bacon. He wrote that in ancient times, and in his own day, there were lenses used to see over great distances, as well as lenses that could magnify, carts which moved rapidly without the use of horses or other animals, great ships of remarkable speed that needed only one man to steer them, and working models of the solar system. Of course, we can be reasonably certain Hero of Alexandria and Roger Bacon were not time travellers, but there might have been a source for their imaginative leaps. Perhaps a mouthy time traveller, lost in his cups. Or perhaps an artificial intelligence from the future in a secret orbit above the Earth, beaming down messages and knowledge to certain select individuals. This brings up a subject that might be a potential footprint. What if UAPs and alien sightings are not really of extraterrestrials but of future time-travelling humans? It is curious how common the humanoid shape is to most witness testimonies. They stand upright. They have 2 eyes and a mouth. They have arms and hands, legs and feet. Their methods and apparent understanding seem remarkably human-like. It is not a far stretch to suppose that our understanding of these aliens is clearer and easier than our understanding of, say, a goldfish, an eagle, or a reindeer, even though we have shared this earth with them far, far longer. As Ludwig Wittgenstein once said, if lions could talk, we would not understand them. And yet, we should have far more in common with the lion than with an extraterrestrial being from some distant world. So, either the so-called aliens are our future selves, or they are the product of our imagination. So, what are the clues we might look for when seeking time travelers in history? Well, first we must look for someone who is ill, struck down suddenly on their first appearance in the records, by a relatively common ailment. Second, and this is only a possibility, we might look for someone with memory problems, either partial or total. Mysterious people who are incarcerated in asylums or mental hospitals and who have no recorded family members. Third, it may be reported that they had odd eccentricities of speech or an unfamiliar accent or dialect. Finally, it is reasonable to suppose any such time traveller has travelled with a purpose, although we cannot rule out an accidental temporal trip. This purpose would most likely be to gather information at a historically pivotal or controversial event, so it might be worth beginning any search for time travellers by looking at just such events. Snøyrypskendas nivahne nuolot on zui hilrapana selavo mötses nishdelasni nivil shifeta save snishdelas nil shifeta zedbuchi nashien damezi strash debis vustmis snøyrypskelujuinen nahit lesorpes get diekele fefo I hof investisnat heribef nikessenot